Welcome to ReRoll, your SideQuest Bloodbowl week in review. With both these teams entering week 4 on 4 points, a win for either side would be crucial in launching them into the top half of the table. The Kislev received, but couldn't make it very far before a failed one die left their cage horribly exposed. The Dwarves, ever vicious, charged in and blitzed down the ball carrier, stealing the ball, all the whilst fouling Kislev players behind the ref's back. The Kislev attempted to recover the ball, but to no avail, giving the Dwarves a 1-0 lead by turn 4. Attempt number 2 went much the same way as the first for the Kislev, as they were once again blitzed down by the keen-eyed Dwarves, but this time whilst having players surfed instead. The Kislev did manage to recover the ball, but couldn't make anything of it in this half. In the second half, the Kislev's dwindling numbers were taking their toll, and they just struggled to steal the ball. The Dwarves pushed up the field, and just yards away from the touchdown line, the Kislev did manage to nick the ball back. With one chance left to equalise, this blitzer leapt gracefully onto his face, dropping the ball and solidifying the Dwarves' win with a 2-0 result. After last week's fantastic defeat against one of the top 3, the Goblins hoped to continue this turnaround by taking on one of the other leaders, Figslicker's Dwarves. Unfortunately, their glory was short-lived because, well, I'll let this clip do the talking. Not much more can be said really. Brought down to 5 players on the pitch by turn 4 in the first half, and only 2 by turn 12 in the second, there is really very little the Goblins can do to survive this kind of onslaught. After their first win last week, the Chaos felt they'd finally passed on the Chaos curse. Well, almost. The Lizards received and wasted no time at all in charging up the middle of the field, breaking through the Chaos defences and comfortably scoring in turn 3. With plenty of time left in the first half, the Chaos hoped to get a return touchdown, but the Lizards played aggressively and piled on the pressure, forcing the Chaos to play catch-up in an attempt to keep the hold of the ball. Stalling out the drive for several turns, the Chaos were forced to attempt a desperate pass if they had any hopes of scoring, and alas, it did not work. Inspired by this shoddy attempt, the Skinks stepped up to the plate and, requiring a 6, pulled off this incredible pass to secure a 2-0 lead going into the second half. Now with the pressure really mounting, the Chaos needed some quick touchdowns of their own. They played a risky game to move the ball quickly down the field, but got a little too comfortable, and after not risking a go for it, found themselves in a sticky situation. With both teams scrambling for the ball, whilst the Chaos did eventually pick it up to score, the Lizard had wasted more than enough time, and with only a couple of turns left, the Chaos couldn't pull out any crazy plays. And whilst the Lizards tried and failed some madness of their own, they'll be more than happy with this 2-1 win and maintaining their joint spot at the top of the league. With the track records of these two teams, I think anyone would have accepted a bet on the Khemri winning this game. However, after last week's upset, doubt was lurking in the air. Chaos Dwarves received and took the ball down the right hand side, running headfirst into an immovable Khemri defence. Slowly, the Chaos Dwarf cage whittled and broke, and eventually the ball popped free in a favourable Khemri position. A brave counter-attack was attempted by passing to a Tomb Guardian, but, as expected, he fumbled the catch. Now, with most of the Chaos Dwarf players marked and the ball behind their lines guarded by a Tomb Guardian, there was little they could do but prevent the Khemri score. The second half was similar to the first. An aggressive Chaos Dwarf defence met up against a hard Khemri line. Eventually though, the Old Bones scrambled down the right hand side of the field, and despite a fumbled handoff to ensure levelling up a blitzer, second time lucky meant the Khemri could claim the win and retain their spot in the top 3, not suffering another top-bottom upset. The battle for the mid-table was intense this week, and the Orcs needed to win to put themselves in favour at getting that all-important 4th place spot to earn a bye in the Cup. The Orcs received, and after the Ogres helped by taking out some of their own team, the Orcs made a quick score. The fans, enthralled by this, invaded the pitch and patted everyone lightly on the back. Wait, what? Anyways, The Ogres had 4 turns left to score, and in what is quickly becoming a dying meme, showed off their handling game. The Orcs were quick to retaliate to this breakaway, blitzing down the Ogre and recovering the ball. So enthused by the match that they lost their bearing and even tried to score in their own end zone.
Yes!
What's happening?
What do you mean?
Didn't I score?
No, that's your touchdown, son.
Oh. I'm an idiot.
Second half rolled around and the Ogres had another shot to increase their tally of successful passes, which they did. But once again, the Orcs were hot on the Ogre's heels and blitzed down the Ogre carrier for a second time. They were surfed in response, but despite an oblong cage, the Orcs were able to crack this fragile little egg, steal the ball and run off for a second touchdown, getting the win and breathing down the necks of the Underworld in the table. Speaking of Underworld, the battle for 4th continued here, with both of these teams sitting comfortably on 7 points, and with the Orcs nearby, this was a crucial match to increase the chances of reaching that automatic cup stage bye. The Underworld received and attempted their now traditional fast-paced push up the field. However, the Bretonnians offered more resistance than expected, and managed to stall out the Underworld for a significant number of turns. Eventually though, the Underworld were able to break through the lines with some risky manoeuvres and set up their 1-0 lead at the end of the half. Unfortunately for the Bretonnians, a few casualties and a backfired foul left them shorter than they'd like. The Underworld may technically be stunty, but they are no pushovers, and with a lack of numbers, the Bretonnians couldn't get a footing against the Skaven players. Driven up against the touchline, it became a game of recovery, and despite a number of successful dodges and passes, the Bretonnians couldn't quite secure the touchdown, giving the Underworld the win and leaving the Bretonnians stuck in 7th. And that's all for this week. Let's take a look at how this week's games have altered the table. To be honest, not a huge amount has happened. It was really a battle of the mid-table, with 5 teams fighting it out for that all-important 4th place spot. Wins from the Orcs, Dwarves and Underworld have increased the difference to a 2-game gap for the Ogres to grab that position. With the top 3 playing the bottom 3 and winning, the top remains unchanged, and these 3 continue to increase their lead and really emphasise the importance of goal difference and number of touchdowns in this league. Meanwhile, the bottom 4 remain the same, and with the Chaos bumping above the Kislev thanks to only losing their game by a single touchdown. And that's it for this week. Keep an eye out for all of the things, including our website which has tables and fixtures, our Twitter for the streaming schedules, and our Twitch to watch the games live. Thank you once again for joining me, happy Blood Bowling, and may Nuffle bless you all.
Be stupid, just
Yes.
be stupid for me, yeah. I'm dancing. You know, I'm dancing.
Kill him.